Welcome back. We now join minimalist percussionist Bex Burch in her studio in Berlin for a dialogue with Alex Head around her practice. So enjoy.
There have been many times in my life where I've given myself up in advance and on Friday I'm going to completely lose my will. And then on Friday, sure enough,
Okay, I'm ready for whatever happens now.
We're almost there now. I know that sometimes people do this sort of narrative introduction from a completely different location than where the recording is going to take place.
Hallo?
Hi, ist Bex da? Oh, tut mir leid, falsche Klingel, tut mir leid. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. So we're going to go in here. A very special sound. It's many stairs up into this sound. We're going to go up into the music. We're going to leave this space completely. We're going to go up into the music of Bex Burch, acclaimed, fantastic artist, and now another Berliner. Hi, apologies for that terrible sound quality. It's way below par for late 2020. This show is somewhat unconventional even by my own standards, and Bex and I approached it as kind of a shared show, but the truth is, catching up with Bex in that kind of casual way that people say we caught up with, percussionist and minimalist jazz musician Bex Burch, well, we did, but it was like catching up after 10 years. So in the end, it really just became exchanging things which are significant in our life experiences. But I just wanted to sort of formalize it a little and point you guys towards the album and the band which Bex is a part of and is kind of fronting, Vula Viel, or I guess now she's moved over to Berlin, Vula Viel. That's a powerful, powerful band, and their album, What's Not Enough About That, has launched in 2020 and has actually given me a huge amount of energy and hope. So reconnecting with Bex at the end of 2020 is kind of special for me because it's been one of those years, or at least it's been an outstandingly terrible year and an eventful year, and not everything is lost, but there's so much more to do. Anyway, so this is a show which involves some recordings that we made together, that Bex recorded really, I was just sitting there, and a dialogue between the two of us, and we're just going to try and wrap it up as much as we can, but it went on a whole lot longer than we either of us expected. So here's Bex and I talking in Wedding in Berlin. You have a lot of really interesting looking instruments in your studio, which you're kind of gathering around you again.
You can tell I'm in a nesting mode. This is one of the happy consequences of this year and of not being out on the road all the time, which I miss a huge amount. But I love having all my instruments set up all the time here.
Yeah.
And it's accessible, whereas like getting up and going to an airport and flying and setting up a thing and all the stress of whether my instrument's going to make the flight and all of that, and then playing music. The music's great still, but here it's just relaxed me.
Oh, that's a really big tambourine.
Oh, he doesn't mean anything. Listen to the nesting. This is coming out. I don't know why. This drum was from a dear friend of mine, Dawn, who lives in the States, and has been at different times of her life, although she's a white American. She's been part of the Native American community in different ways. And this drum was made in that community, all from one horse.
Really?
So all this back thing and this skin, it's all from the same piece of skin. And it's a really incredible voice. Actually, I should do this over your head.
Yeah, you were talking as well about getting closer to the process of recording yourself.
Yeah.
And doing more of your own recording, which I thought was kind of interesting.
I really love it. We were talking earlier about microphones. I've realised that I'm using this microphone as an instrument now. It's part of it's one of the instruments that you can see here. And I really enjoy it. I've been getting to know my own voice.
Right.
And what kind of voice I want to put on my music, speaking and singing, and yeah. It's quite an intimate instrument, the microphone. And the records I've made where other people have been recording and mixing me have taught me a huge amount about it, and I just didn't know anything, and kind of always thought it was, we were saying earlier, kind of always thought it was this other thing that was like you needed to go to school to learn how to do or whatever, or
Yeah, that's how I feel about a lot of the technical.
Drink a bowl of blood from some ritual, right?
It was one or the other.
And yeah, turns out that's not true. You just have to download Reaper and start doing it. Yeah. So I found it really intuitive and really creative, and another part of my work now, present, where mixing and composing and performing and rehearsing, all these things where I forget to eat and sleep, and because I'm being nourished elsewhere, right? I'm getting all I need from the music. And mixing is one of those, and that is like a little gift, because those things are sometimes few and far between. So this is my snake drum, but the snake skin is so temperature sensitive that it changes pitch dramatically. It's quite fun in the cold. This is I think it's been cold for too long, and now even in a normal temperature room like this, it's quite high. Actually, I've worn an outfit for the radio today.
Yeah.
You see my t-shirt?
It's classic.
I started playing it like that recently. It's quite fun like this. But then you can't play anything else. This is also a nice drum. Are you peeking? What do you think?
We're peeking over here a little bit, it doesn't really matter.
And it's that kind of radio station, is it? This is a lovely drum too. Sometimes you just need a smaller stick. we've been at Zoot's place together. Maybe for Tally's birthday? Is that possible?
Tally and Charlotte's birthday, not just Tally's general.
Oh, and then the joint birthday, surely.
Yeah, the joint birthday is one of my big. So I left about 2 days after that to Glasgow.
Okay. God, I just don't remember like details from that time at all. It's crazy.
I mean, I sort of pick and choose between different places I've grown up and different lineages, like kind of to fit the identity as it suits me, maybe.
Right.
You know, to the extent that places sort of stay the way that you've experienced them, they are kind of really comforting. And not just comforting, but they kind of, you know, they become significant as part of your narrative. But then there's also something really reassuring about them changing, I've found. Right, when going back to London, it's kind of now been long enough that it's kind of a whole new set of problems. I mean, I'm sure that to try and live there now would be like really just a different set of problems. I don't know if it would be better or worse than a decade ago, but...
I find that London never changes.
Really?
In a nice way. Like, I can go away and I can go back and it'll be there.
Oh yeah, it's probably still going to be there. But you know, like here we are having a conversation, and we wouldn't have done this a decade ago.
No,
you know?
We've changed.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I really mean. Yeah, of course. I mean, London looks pretty familiar.
Yeah,
it's gotten a bit taller, you know, but my relationship to the people, which is really how I read everything, I just read it through the people, really.
Yeah.
Thank goodness it's moved on, really. Thank goodness my relationships with people have changed a bit since 10 years ago. And my relationship with myself, of course.
Were you not in a good place a decade ago?
I see it as being like a half expression. Maybe sometimes like a third of a person.
Yeah. But you're aware of yourself now in a way you weren't, maybe.
Yeah, for sure, and I think
you're choosing your choices rather than just like flopping around.
I think I'm making decisions for the better reasons. Yeah, and I think there are certain expressions of myself that I won't go back to and that I don't need to go back to.
Yeah, I'm just starting to glimpse that I have a choice over my actions and over who I am. Definitely have lived most of my life not really choosing things. A good friend of mine, Jim Hart, who's the drummer in Full of Eel, doesn't think that choice is possible. He thinks that free will is a myth in the human condition, and we often talk about it, argue about it.
Yeah.
I think it's really rare, but I do think it's possible. I think that trust is a big part of it, and about a big part of change.
Yeah.
And that's to do with the letting go of control, because we don't have any, and breathing. I guess I can choose to do that. I can choose to breathe properly and consciously, and I can choose to feel what I'm feeling consciously, rather than ball around, blaming everything else and everyone else.
One of the things which I was not able to talk about like a decade ago in London was my sexuality. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things that I don't want to have not talked about is that.
But what you want to talk about is also the difference between now and 10 years ago, when you couldn't talk about it, and now that you can.
Yes, I feel that was something which I maybe kind of took out on people a bit, in terms of how I was like how I behaved, which is, I guess, a regret. But it's not one that I kind of have much. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that really communicated. Sorry to be like, what are you talking about?
No, that's.
But you just got me. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a really powerful thing to say.
You know, everything is somehow a rehearsal for something else, I feel like. And I feel like there's a lot of these conversations that I have to have with people in the UK because...
Well, I don't know. Alright, I'm going to play a bit more music and then we'll stop.
Cool. Thank you.
And it can be for this microphone.
Yeah.
Over here. I guess everything else has been on yours. This is too loud, isn't it? I need a better recording stool. See, this instrument is quite amazing. The wood. It's okay to talk about regrets, isn't it? It's like,
yeah,
some obsession. We've been socialised to be so scared of having made mistakes or being anything but innocent. We're obsessed with innocence, I think, in this society. And actually, it doesn't really ring true to me, because everyone's fucked up.
No.
And we're part of a fucked up system, and the only way to do anything about that is to first, this is now getting macrocosm, but to be able to admit guilt. It's like really, really important. I regret the last time I saw my dad before he died. Apart from when I actually made it up to the hospital. It was very sudden. So apart from that time, when I don't know how much he was with it really. But he came down to see me, and I was just such an asshole. Because I was stressed. And I thought that was okay.
When was that?
4 years ago? Well, that was in October 2016 when he came down, and he died in November. Like all this stuff about choice and breathing, and like I can get so caught up in what feels important to me, and I'm learning more and more that it's like it's not okay just to like exist like that and go around taking it out on people, or just being in that space personally.
Yeah, even if you learn to keep it to yourself, it's still
what's
the good of it.
Just like had my priorities thoroughly disrupted. Being able to admit when we've made mistakes is like, the more, you brought that up, but actually that's central to how I want to live my life. Because waiting for things, learning to wait for me is, like, you talk about patience. I think actually this year since lockdown, it's been an opportunity to practice that really for the first time. Because I've learned a lot from and really grateful for how I've done things previously, which is a lot of like pushing and making my own opportunities and just like just happening, and all for really great reasons of like wanting to share my music with more people. Like, it's definitely the furnace that drives all that energy is in the right place, otherwise it wouldn't have been sustainable. But just got really skewed on the way and picked up a load of stuff that really, having lost all my work, became really obvious. So are you going back on your mistakes as well? It sounds like you're saying you'd like to have a conversation with people from London at that time and be able to.
Yeah, I think so. I think
apologise to people. Okay.
Yeah, and explain a bit, because I wasn't able to then.
Yeah.
And not just like.
Sounds like an AA thing, right?
Yeah, it is.
Which is an amazing. Have you read the 12 Steps?
I've read things which describe some of them, but I haven't like.
Oh, I'd really recommend reading 12. It's an incredible, like, set of, I don't know, way to live your life, actually.
Yeah.
Whether you're an alcoholic or not.
Yeah.
I'm not, by the way, but I have read them, and.
I don't think.
I think everyone has problems with addiction, whether it's alcohol,
definitely.
drugs, or anything else.
Habit forming things.
Yeah. A friend of mine described. I really like this description. I didn't make it up. Is that addiction is when is to do with the loss of the will. So when you can't choose, when you know what I mean? And I definitely know that feeling.
Yeah, when you can't choose not to. I mean, there have been many, many times in my life where I've given myself up in advance, and like, you know, on Friday I'm going to completely lose my will. And then like on Friday, sure enough, you know.
That's clever. Okay.
It's sort of paradox, but it's the way in which you feed it, and it's the way in which you can try and domesticate it.
Yeah.
You know.
I've actually always done things before. I've known how to do them, and that's pretty sketchy. But
no,
it means
I don't think it is. I think it's
you kind of leap for that thing and fall, and that's how you learn.
I very much empathise with that approach, I have to say.
Okay.
It's pretty much exactly what I've found myself doing. You know, the person who kind of doesn't really learn, you know, a particular subject or a particular way of understanding the world, but comes back and re-embraces it as an adult, will get so much more out of it, because they want to be doing it, and they want to be finding something in it, and they kind of have that curiosity of being a kid again. But
so I would describe that as hunger. And until I have the hunger to do something, I just will never do it.
Yeah.
And when I have the hunger to do something, then as proved by my life, I at some point will do it, and I'll get it done. And the wood is so good. Yeah. And I know it so well. Like, this is a bit out of tune. Quite a lot out of tune. Yeah. That was a nice moment. Anyway. I know this isn't the show, I'm just telling you.
no, it's
Shakers.
That was Resonant Advisor with Bex Burch. Don't forget you can catch all of these shows and our extensive archive at subtextradio.net. Shout out. Peace. Make good.
Had been the text he was after, and fate's an accidental subtext. Subtext, 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 subtext.